Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shochifah Diyah P, American presidential candidate. I accepted the job, sight unseen, motivated then by a single, simple, powerful idea that I might play a small part in building a better America. My work took me to some of Chicago's poorest neighborhoods. I joined with pastors and lay people to deal with communities that had been ravaged by plant closings. I saw that the problems people faced weren't simply local in nature, that the decision to close a steel mill was made by distant executives, that the lack of textbooks and computers in schools could be traced to the skewed priorities of politicians 1,000 miles away, and that when a child turns to violence, there's a hole in his heart no government could ever fill. It was here, in Springfield, where I saw all that is America coverage. Farmers and teachers, businessmen and laborers, all of them with a story to tell, all of them seeking a seat at the table, all of them clamoring to be heard. I met lasting friendships here, friends that I see in the audience today. It was here we learned to disagree without being disagreeable, that it's possible to compromise so long as you know those principles that can never be compromised. And that so long as we're willing to listen to each other, we can assume the best in people instead of the worst. That's why we were able to reform a death penalty system that was broken. That's why we were able to give health insurance to children in need. That's why we made the tax system more fair and just for working families. And that's why we passed ethics reforms that the Koenig said could never ever be passed. The genius of our founders is that they designed a system of government that can be changed, and we should take the hurt because we've changed this country before. In the face of tyranny, a band of patriots broke an empire to its knees. In the face of secession, we unfired a nation and set the captives free. In the face of depression, we put people back to work and lifted millions out of poverty. We welcomed immigrants to our shores. We opened railroads to the west. We landed a man on the moon, and we heard a king's call to let justice roll down like water, and righteousness like a mighty stream. Each and every time, a new generation has risen up and done what's needed to be done. Today we are called once more, and it is time for our generation to answer that call. For that is our unyielding faith, that in the face of impossible odds, people who love their country can change it. That's what Abraham Lincoln understood. He had his tops, he had his defeats, he had his setbacks. But through his will and his words, he moved a nation and helped free a people. It is because of the millions who railed to his cause that we are no longer divided, north and south, slave and free. It is because men and women of every race, from every walk of life, continued to march for freedom long after Lincoln was laid to rest, that today we have the chance to face the challenges of this millennium. For the last 6 years, we've been told that our mounting debts don't matter. We've been told that the anxiety Americans feel about rising health cares, cost, and stagnant wage are an illusion. We've been told that climate change is a hoax, and that though talk and an ill-conceived word can replace diplomacy and strategy and foresight. And when all else fails, when Katrina happens, or the death toll in Iraq mounts, we've been told that our crises are somebody else's fault. We're distracted from our real failures and told to blame the other party, or gay people, or immigrants. And as people have looked away in disillusionment and frustration, we know what's filled the void. The cynics and the lobbyists and the special interests who've turned our government into a game only they can afford to play. They write a check and you get stuck with the bills. They get the access while you get to write a letter. They think they own this government, but we're here today to take it back. The time for debt politics is over. It's time to turn the page. We've made some progress already. I was proud to help lead the fight in Congress that led to the most sweeping ethics reform since Watergate. But Washington has a long way to go, and it won't be easy. That's why we'll have to set priorities. We'll have to make hard choices, and although government will play a crucial role bringing about the change we need, more money and programs alone will not get us where we need to go. Each of us, in our own lives, will have to accept responsibility for instilling an ethic of achievement in our children, for adapting to a more competitive economy, for strengthening our communities, and sharing some measure of sacrifice. So let us begin. Let us begin this hard work together. Let us transform this nation. Let us be the generation that reshapes our economy to compete in the digital age. Let's set high standards for our schools and give them the resources they need to succeed. Let's recruit a new army of teachers and give them better pay and more support in exchange for more accountability. Let's make college more affordable, and let's invest in scientific research, and let's lay down broadband lines through the heart of inner cities and rural towns all across America. Let's be the generation that ends poverty in America. Every single person willing to work should be able to get the job training that leads to a job and earn a living wage that can pay the bills and afford child care so their kids have a safe place to go when they work. Let's do this. Let's be the generation that finally tackles our healthcare crisis. We can control costs by focusing on prevention, by providing better treatment to the chronically ill, and using technology to cut the bureaucracy. Let's be the generation that says right here, right now, that we will have universal health care in America by the end of the next president's first term. Let's be the generation that makes future generations proud of what we did here. Thank you.